Everyone, welcome back to another live community classroom with Michaels. We have our friend Marley Bird with us today to learn to make these cute little crochet pumpkins. If you need any help with tech, our friend Maria has dropped some information about that in the chat. My name is Renee L. from Yarn Inspirations, and I'll be helping with any questions you have today during today's class. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat and we'll make sure that Marley answers them. While we're getting ready to kick things off, let us know where you're watching from and where you're going to place your pumpkin. Is that going on your table, on the fireplace? Let us know. Over to you, Marley.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. I see some familiar faces here. It's nice to have you back. I am going to make this super cute pumpkin. I have made several of these. And in a funny turn of events, I didn't realize I was teaching this class, and I recently gave them to my mom to decorate her desk at work. So I was like, it's a good thing I'm making another pumpkin today. You might think that we don't need pumpkins anymore because Halloween is over, but that would not be the case because this is perfect for your general fall decorations. I know that they are a hit for your mantle, on your Thanksgiving table. You can have a lot of fun making these items, and they're very simple. Any general worsted weight yarn will work making these pumpkins. I know that the samples were made using Caron Simply Soft. I will be using Red Heart Super Saver today, and just a basic size H hook. Now you might be like, well, that doesn't look big. I just have a handle. It's just a basic H hook right there, which is a 8mm, or not 8mm, a size 8 or a 5mm hook. That's the size I'm going to be using. And we will be making the smaller pumpkin today. So hopefully we can get through all of the instructions. Now, this is considered to be an intermediate piece, I do believe. Am I wrong? I'm looking for that on here real quick. No, easy. So it's considered easy. So I am going to go a little bit slow just to make sure you guys can see what's happening. But because this is getting recorded, just a reminder, you will be able to go back and rewatch this if there's something that you missed, or maybe you are working along and it's just not working out. You want to start over. You'll be able to watch along with me. All right, everybody good? Looks like a lot of you are talking about where to put your pumpkins. That's awesome. All right, Maria, let's go ahead and switch down to the hands and get this party started. Here we go, guys. So like I said, I'm just using a Red Heart Super Saver worsted weight yarn here in an orange colorway in a size H crochet hook. And we will follow along with the instructions. And when it's time to go to only the small, we will do that. First thing we're going to do is chain 2. So we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. So there's a lot of different ways to make a slip knot, but here's how I do mine. I put the tail in the palm of my hand, and I use my thumb and I just hold that tail. Now I take my working yarn and I wrap it around my forefinger and my middle finger, and I come back up. Then I cross that over to create that little cross right there between on the fingers. I rotate my hand. I'm going to take this yarn and I'm just going to tuck it right there and pinch it with my pinky. So now if I go underneath this front loop and grab this back loop and pull it off, I'm going to just put my finger right here on this hook where the loop on the hook, take my fingers out, pull the 2 legs of the tail. You're like, wait a minute, that's way too big. It is, but because you can pull the tails apart, it will tighten up that loop and you can tighten it onto your hook to the size you need to be. Now you don't want it to be super duper tight because you'll never be able to get your hook through it, but that is essentially how you would do a slip knot. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time. Pop. Tail of the yarn in the palm of my hands. I put my thumb right there just to hold that tail. Working yarn around my forefinger and my middle finger and come up. Cross over, rotate my hand, use my pinky, and I kind of pinch that working yarn right there between my pinky and my ring finger. Take my hook, go underneath the front loop, grab that back loop and pull it off. I'm going to just put my finger right on that loop that's on my hook so it doesn't go anywhere. Take my fingers out of the hole right there, the circle. And then now you have these 2 tails, just pull them. And as you pull the legs apart, it tightens up that loop right on your hook. All right. So now we will do a chain 2. So I'm holding my hook. I hold my hook like a pencil. You can hold your hook like a knife. Either way works for you. I do like to always, I grasp that little knot right there just to hold my, my loop that's on my hook in place. It just makes things easier for me. And we're going to chain 2. Now, first things first, we never count the loop on our hook as a stitch. Everybody repeat after me. Never count the loop on your hook as a stitch, ever, ever, ever. So when we have to chain 2, this does not count as one. It's not like knitting. We have to go around our yarn and then pull that yarn through that chain. And that's 1. Go around our yarn, pull that yarn through the chain. That's 2. Okay. Now we're going to do 10 single crochets all into that second chain from hook. So here's what I'm going to do to try and help it make it easier for you guys to see. I'm going to take a stitch marker and I'm going to place it through that second chain from hook. Okay. So you have your loop on your hook, which does not count as a stitch. Here's our chain number 1 and our chain number 2. So this is our second chain from hook. We are going to place 10 single crochet into that stitch right there. So in order to do that, that stitch marker is going to help us remember where all these stitches are going. I will eventually remove it because it takes up space. But if I hold my chain, I take my hook, go right into that chain. You can just grab one loop, that's fine. Yarn over my hook, pull up a loop. So I have 2 loops on my hook. Yarn over my hook and draw through 2. That's 1. Because I want to make sure I know where the first chain, not first chain, the first stitch is, I'm going to take another stitch marker here, if I can get it undone. And if you're looking here, this V behind the loop on my hook, I'm just going to put a marker right there. And that just lets me know that's the top of the stitch I just created. Might seem confusing here. If I had a different color marker, I would change it. But anyways, so that's the start of my round. So that's 1 single. Go into the same chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Into the same chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. If you've never done a single crochet before, this might seem tricky. It's going to all be about keeping your tension consistent. And it's something that you are just going to have to practice to be able to control the tension and the loops on your hook. I'm going to take this out now since I can very clearly see where that hole is that I'm going into. And I'm just going to keep making all of these single crochets until I get to 10. And if you're like, well, how do you know if you've got to 10? I'm going to actually show you how you would count your stitches. So let's count right here real quick and extend that so it doesn't go anywhere. So I know that this right here, that's my stitch number 1. So that V right there, that's my stitch number 1. So I go to the next V, there's stitch number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. I didn't even know I stopped at 10. So this loop that's on my hook does not count as a stitch. I just counted 10 stitches all the way around. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet. And I know where that is because I put a marker there. So I'm actually going to grab both legs of that V. See that? So I just put my hook right to where my marker is. Take my marker out so you can see. So I'm in the top of that first single crochet I did. Yarn over, pull through the top, and then pull through the loop that's on my hook. And I get a nice little round. You can crochet over the tail for this example, guys, because we're not doing a magic loop. So you can crochet over your tail, but you still want to weave in your tail later. You don't want to just leave it hanging out. Okay. All right. So that is round 1. We're going to begin round 2. So we start off with our chain 1, and I'm just following the instructions. we're going to place 2 single crochet into the very first single crochet. So right where we did that slip stitch, I'm going to place my hook directly where I did the slip stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. So that's my first stitch. Again, I'm going to take my marker. There's the loop on my hook. Here's the V behind the loop on my hook. That's the top of that single crochet I just completed. So I'm putting my marker there. So I know that that's where I'm going to join when I get to the end of my round. So that was one. I need to put another one in that same spot. So I'm going to put another one in that same spot. Now I'm going to do 2 double crochets into the next single. So for a double crochet, we yarn over our hook first, go to the next single. So look for where that V is at the top of the stitch. We're going to go underneath both legs of that V. That's where we're inserting our hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop. So now I have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, draw through 2. Yarn over, draw through 2. That's 1 double crochet. We need 2 of them. So I yarn over my hook, go into that same stitch, yarn over my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over my hook, draw through 2, yarn over my hook, draw through 2. That was 2 doubles. Now we're going to do 2 singles into the next one. And we're going to keep repeating that. 2 doubles, 2 singles, 2 doubles, 2 singles. Okay. So in the next stitch, so I look for that V. I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to put 1 single and 2 single. That's the end of my repeat. So I repeat from star to the last 2 stitches. So at star is where my double crochet is. So I yarn over my hook, go to the next stitch and do 2 doubles. There's 1 and 2. Go to the next stitch, do 2 singles. 1 and 2. We do our repeat. So we do 2 doubles, 1 and 2, and then do 2 singles. 1 and 2. 2 doubles, 1 and 2, 2 singles, 1 and 2. That brings me down to the last 2 stitches right here. We'll put 2 double crochets in the last single crochet to the last stitch. I'm sorry, I'm down to the last stitch, not 2 stitches, last stitch. That's my slip stitch. That's my last stitch. So I do 1 double and 2 double. That right there is not a stitch. That was my slip stitch to join. So I'm at the end of my round. I'm going to join with the slip stitch to my first single crochet right there. So right where my marker is, I put my hook right in there, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through the loop on my hook. Remove my marker. And here's what we have. Okay. Kind of looks like you have these like points kind of poking out where your double crochets were. That's what you want. You should have 20 stitches. If you wanted to go through and count your 20 stitches, you could do that. Everybody good so far? I see you working hard. Scarlett, you look like you're working hard, my friend. You're doing well. All right. Here we go. We're doing round 3. We start with our chain 1. We're going to do 1 single crochet in the first single crochet. So this time we're going to do 1. So right here where we did our slip stitch, I'm going to put 1 single crochet. So I pulled up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2, pause for a second, put my marker through the V behind the loop on my hook. Just so I know that that's the first stitch of my round, and that's where I'll do my slip stitch into. Now, into this next, let's see, I'm going to do 1 single crochet and 1 double crochet in all in the next single. So I'm going to do one single and one double into this next stitch. So one single crochet, and then one double crochet. One double crochet into the next stitch. Two double crochet into the next stitch. One single crochet into the next single. Now it says to repeat all of that from star. So we go back to star. So in the next stitch, we're going to do a single and a double, a double into the following stitch, two doubles into the next stitch, and a single into the next one. So that was one repeat. We're going to do that 2 more times now. Okay. So the next stitch, we're going to do a single and a double, one double into the next double, two doubles into the next, and a single into the next. I'm trying to read and crochet all at the same time. I'm hoping I'm not skipping any stitches. I'm trying to make sure I'm good. So that was 2 times. We have 1 more time. We're going to do that, right? It says 3 more. So I did that. It says 3 times. 1, 2. I do 1 more time. So we have a single and a double, and then a double in the next, 2 doubles in the next. I'm just going through both loops at the top of the stitch, and then a single in the following. Now on these last stitches here, we're going to do a single and a double into that single crochet, a double crochet in the next double, 2 double crochets into the next double crochet. That brings us to the end. So we'll join with a slip stitch right here. So all the way down there where I have that marked. See how helpful having that marked stitch is? Just go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull that loop through the one on my hook, remove my marker. Let's take a peek. Like we have a cute little star going on here, right? Okay, so that's the end of round 3 so far. And it's okay that we have this little hole right here, you guys, because at the end, you're going to put your stem. So all of that gets covered up. All right, round 4. Here we go. Work on this together. So we will chain 1. 1 single crochet in each of the first 2 singles. So I'll go into the first one here. You guys know the drill at this point. Take my marker and mark it. And yes, I really do use markers nearly all the time because they just make life so much easier. All right, so I just did my 1 single crochet in the first 2. Now I'm going to put 2 double crochet in the next double. So here's 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. So I'm going to put 1 right here and one right here. Two double crochets in the next double. So into the next stitch over, I'm going to put two doubles. There's one and two, and then one single crochet in each of the next two singles. So there's one and two. Repeat from star 3 more times. So very similar to what we did last time. We're going to fill in the sides of our pumpkin here. Okay. All right, so we go back to star. One double crochet in the next double. Two doubles in the next. There's one, two, one double. Sorry, I think I started reading row 5 on accident. So I'm going to just rip back to where I have the two singles. Okay. This is what happens to me. I like look up at the computer and I started reading row. I was like, no, that doesn't seem right. Okay. So we're on round 4. Let me do this again. So if we go from star, we're 2 double crochets in the next double. Here we go. So here's 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. So there's 1 and 2. 2 double crochets into the next double. There's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. And then 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 singles. So there's 1 and 2. And we go back to star. So 2 double crochets in the first double. So there's 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. So there's 1 there and 1 there. And then 2 into the next double. So there's 1 double. There's 2 double. And then a single in each of the next. So there's 1 and 2. Okay. So it's going to start cupping in on itself here real soon because, you know, we're making 3-dimensional items. So that was 2 repeats. Here we go. And 2 doubles. 1, 2. Double in each of the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2. 2 doubles in the next. There's 1 and 2. And then a single in the next 2. There's 1 and 2. We're at the end here, so we do 2 doubles into the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. There's 1 and 2. And then 2 double crochets in the next double. 1 and 2. Join with a slip stitch. Let me just make sure. Yep, join with a slip stitch right down here. Yarn over, pull up a loop, pull that loop through. What you're starting to get. Okay. Starting to cup up on itself. Whew, round 4. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. Don't forget, this is getting recorded. So if at any time you get off track, we'll be able to go back and rewatch everything. So you're doing awesome. All right, round 5. Chain 1. single crochet in each of the first 2 singles. So we're going to put our single in the first one, and we're going to mark it. Like I said, I like to mark both legs of the V. I think it helps out a lot. So that was the first, and we do a single in the next. Now here's our star. So we have a double in the next 2 in the next, 1 double in the next double crochet. So here's 1, 2 doubles in the next. So 2 in the next. So here's 1 and 2. Double crochet in each of the next 3. There's 1, 2, and 3. 2 double crochets in the next double. 1, 1 single crochet, and the 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. Okay, see how it's starting to cup in? We're going to repeat all that. So 1 double, and then 2 doubles into the next. And then 1 double into the next 3. 2 into the next one. And then a single in each of those singles. Hopefully yours is starting to look a little bit like that. All right, here we go. Do 1 double. And you do 2 doubles into the next. These are US doubles, not UK doubles. So in the UK, these would be called trebles, I think. I did my 3 doubles. Now I'm going to do 2 into this one. And I should find 2 singles. One more repeat. One double. And then 2 doubles into the next stitch. 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 2 doubles into the next. 1, 2, and then singles. This is our final one. So here we go. We're going to do a double, 2 doubles, a double in each of the next 3. And then 2 doubles in the last stitch. Join with a slip stitch. That's what we look like so far after 5 rounds. Starting to cup in on itself, right? Starting to really cup in on itself. Now, if you go to page 2, because that's where the pattern continues, you'll notice that it says small pumpkin only, and then there's an area where it says medium and large pumpkins. And the difference here, guys, is that with the other sizes, you have more increase rounds to do. Obviously, you're going to make a bigger pumpkin. But for us, with the small size only, we're going to begin to just build on this, on the stitches the way they are. Okay, so you'll notice that you will repeat the 6th round 5 more times. All right, so this next round is one that we are going to just keep repeating, because for the small size, this is as big as it gets. This is where we are. Okay, that's why I like making the small one. They're fast. All right, so round 6, this is the one where you're just going to keep repeating it. So we've got our stitch count out here. We should have 50 stitches for at this size for the small. So we're going to continue on. So we'll chain 1 single crochet in each of the first 2 singles. So just like we've been doing. So here's 1. I'm going to put my marker there. And here's 2. Now 1 double crochet in each of the next 8 double crochets. So there's no more increases. Okay. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then a single and a single. Okay. What's kind of funny is I've seen people make little pumpkin hats like this. And yes, I said hats. They'll make a pumpkin like start like this, and then they will do the body itself so it just kind of gets straight. So then on a little baby, you know, it looks like a cute little pumpkin. It's just adorable little thing. Just a little way you can tweak things out. So we did the 2 singles. Now we just are going to keep repeating this all the way around. So essentially on top of each of your doubles, you're going to put a double. And on top of all of your singles, you put a single. Now, for those of you who are absolute beginners, I want you to know that, yes, I might make this look really easy, but you have to remember to give yourself a little bit of grace and be patient with yourself, because you're managing a lot here. You're managing your yarn, you're managing your hook, the tension, maybe these are new stitches to you. So you got to give yourself a little bit of time and grace to play around with all of this. Okay, so if you don't get it the first time, that's all right. Don't give up. You just keep on trying. I will tell you, working with like a super saver or even like a burnout blanket, which is bulkier than a worsted, but you could get a really big stitch. Being able to see those stitches in the bigger yarns, in the more yarn that's not silky smooth like Caron Simply Soft, but something has a little bit more grit to it, might help you with your tension a little bit if you find that you're struggling with that. Just a couple of suggestions of ways you can try and help better what you're doing as you're working along. And then a stitch marker definitely is super duper helpful. I use those very often, and I know that you can get stitch markers at Michael's, whether you're buying the kind that I'm using or if you make your own stitch markers and from their bead and jewelry section. I mean, there's lots of options for you. What I mean is if you use like a lobster claw or even like an earring back that are the clamp kind of backs, the ones that kind of, they, you know, has a hook and the clamp kind of comes up, those work really well as stitch markers too, and you can add beads and stuff. So if you're multi-crafty and you like to do jewelry work, that's another thing you can give a whirl. Grab yourself some bead-alon items and some lovely string beads and go to town. I love adding other crafts to what I do. It makes it so that I don't get repetitive stress motions either, because I crochet and knit all the time, which is why I have to use the bigger handled hook. I have found that I can crochet longer and I don't hurt myself if I use a bigger handle hook. But I also found that going from crochet to knitting to jewelry work and stuff really helps my hand dexterity, and it also helps with my eyesight. So I'm not constantly just like squinting, always looking at my jewelry, or make sure I look far away as I'm looking at different charts for my knitting and crochet, or I don't know. I just try and play around with all of it very much. All right, so I'm finishing up with my 8 doubles. I'm going to make sure I have 8 doubles there. So there's my single, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Join with my slip stitch. And that's the end of that round. Now, here's another little trick I'm going to tell you guys with a stitch marker. So you just finished this first round. If you struggle counting your rounds, one thing you could do is grab yourself another stitch marker, like there's even these kind here, and you can put this marker just like on the stitches of this round, something like that. And then you now know, okay, so that's round 1. So now as you do your next 5 rounds, right? Because it says 5 more times, you'll be able to count. This stitch marker was like ground 0, and then you'll be able to count 5 rows past that. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Renee, how's everything going out there?
Really great. We have some folks that are getting bowls a little earlier than they're supposed to, but
yeah.
I think that's okay. And I think, watching the replay will really, really be helpful.
Yeah, if that's happening, it very well could be that you forgot an increase somewhere. Because if you'll notice here, let me see if I can point this out using a little helper here. Those increases, they're the crevice parts of where the pumpkin is. So if you don't have those increases built in the right spots and all on top of each other, you definitely are going to get a misshapen piece, which is totally normal. Like that stuff happens to me. I mean, turn it into a candy corn. Like
I literally said the same thing.
Did you really? Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, turn it into something else. I mean, honestly, guys, here's a little thing. A lot of you, if you're new, might be coming in here thinking you want to do toys one day. Like this basic shaping and stuff is very much how you transition into toys. So like just play around with the shape and then turn it into something funky. Like this could even just be like the bottom of a bear of some sort, I mean, I don't even know, like a kind of a funky bottom, but I mean, there's so many things you could do with just general shaping. But that would be my guess, is that you're just messing up on where those increases and stuff go. So those first 5 rounds, especially, really make sure you're lining up where those single crochets are and just follow the pattern very precisely of, okay, I'm doing 2 doubles here, 2 doubles here, 2 doubles here, 2 doubles here. And then what you'll notice is these 2 stitches here. So I'm just going to put that line right there. And then these 2 stitches in here, I'm going to put this here. So if I have like this triangular wedge here, this is where we started to build our increases. And then as we do 2 doubles here and 2 doubles here, there's like 1 solitary double here, and then 2 doubles here, 2 doubles here. Then there's 3 in between, like as you get up into this area. So as you keep increasing, so this was 2 doubles, 2 doubles, 2, 2 doubles, 2 doubles, 1. But as you're doing those 2 extra doubles, you're getting an extra stitch here in between just regular double crochets. So if you're making the larger sizes, you'll notice that as you go from 3, then you'll go to 5 in between your 2 doubles, and then you'll go to 7 between your 2 doubles and 2 doubles, so on and so forth. So you're really creating this wedge. I mean, it kind of looks like the top of a pumpkin pie too. Like you could, maybe chain stitch some white, make some curly Q like whipped cream or something. Like there's so many things you could do with this, but let's just keep going. So go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Marley. I just wanted to put this out for the recording because first of all, it is preaching to the stitch marker choir. And second of all, I think it's just a really great tip. So Michelle said one thing that helped me in doing rounds was to use 1 color of stitch marker in each stitch where there's supposed to be 2, and then a different color for the end of each round. Really helps if you're interrupted.
Yeah. or on your repeats. So like if we wanted to go through here, so like right here, these are 2 singles and then 8 doubles and then 2 singles, right? So that would be the end of my repeat. And then my 2 double or my 8 doubles, and then here are my 2 singles. So I could put like another marker right here and be like, okay, that's the end of my repeat. If I have gotten to this and I have maybe I've only counted 7 doubles, I've missed something somewhere. So stitch markers, I mean, they are purely there to help you keep your place. They're like stop signs or yield signs or a reminder note. They're very, very, very helpful. And for things like this, like what she's mentioning, like I like these little ones, these particular ones, because they have that nice point to them. I don't know, I find them very helpful for that very reason. But ones that I know I don't want to go anywhere, like they have to be there. I like the locking stitch markers a lot, and they come in different sizes. I mean, not that this is an ad for stitch markers, but if I'm being honest with my nails and my fingers, I find these ones more tricky to get into. That's why I like the big ones. That's the only reason I picked the big ones. They're just easier for my hands to work with. All right, so enough about the stitch markers. I'm going to keep on going. This is just a repeat of round 6. So I'm just going to keep going here so that we can try and get down to where some decreases are happening here. Okay, so I'm gonna go as quickly as I possibly can. So I am hoping you guys know how these stitches work now. I mean, we've been doing doubles and singles, but I'm just going to try and zoom through this so that way we can hopefully get to a decrease bit, and I can show you how to do all of that. And yeah, anything else, any sort of conversation here would be really great, Renee.
Absolutely. Patty is also singing to our choir here. I don't know if y'all know, whenever Marley and I do a class, we're just like excited about stitch markers the whole time. Patty said, I usually use a bobby pin as a stitch marker.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Bobby pins and bread tags, I feel like is the.
Yes. Bobby pins and bread tags. Those are perfect. And like you guys were at, like I was talking earlier about, like, so like here's a lobster clasp. Like this is a stitch marker that I've made, like really simple. That's actually one of my row counters. But there's so many different. I mean, look, I've got stitch markers galore, you guys. Another lobster, but these ones, again, that one's hard to get into. Here's the one I was trying to think of earlier when I was trying to describe what's going on. Like that kind of earring, you know what I mean? So, but you can make all those. You can, like I said, go to the jewelry department where all the beads and stuff are. I love it there. It's fun.
Oh, Scarlett's holding up her very small pumpkins. Looks great.
Look, oh, that's great.
Hers was kind of going into a bit of a bowl shape. So
Awesome.
It looks like we have a carrot. So you improv.
Hey, there you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. You know what? I mean, half the beauty of crochet is that you can literally do anything with it. You can turn it into anything that you want. All right, single, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I went one too many. I went too early. I've been talking, now I'm messing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Single. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I went one too many on the row below. Not that it really matters, but I'm going to just decrease this so that it goes away. I'm just going to take care of that. How's everybody else do? I mean, everybody's that's working along with me. They're just like working along. They don't have time to type. How many of you have made pumpkins before or made any sort of a stuffy item like this? One thing that's great about these, you can use some of your scrap yarn to stuff it full if you want. Or if you don't have any fiberfill or something, grab one of your older like decorative pillows that maybe you don't want it anymore and just bust it open and take the stuffing from the inside. And use it and then throw out the outside. I have done that before when I was in a pinch. I was like, you know what? Just the outside of this is gross. The inside is fine. Yeah. Don't worry. It wasn't like a gift or something.
I think a lot of folks keep like the yarn jar of like their like yarn ends and clippings.
Oh, girl. Hold
Yeah,
on.
Marley's got one.
There we go.
Yeah. So if
I've
you
got
guys just keep
so
that, like
much.
you can use it to stuff things and it works.
Yep. Yep. Or, I mean, if you're doing something really cutesy for somebody, you could always like make a little crocheted heart and shove it inside too. You're like, this
Yeah.
is a heart to it. Like a Build-A-Bear. Did you ever do Build-A-Bears where you put a heart inside of it? Make a
Aw.
wish. We did Build-A-Bears for my kids growing up. I'm just cruising along here, and I feel like it's funny because when you're on the clock like this, I feel like I'm going so slow. It's strange. It's a strange feeling.
Yeah, this is going very like I made my first round a couple months ago and it took forever. So this is very impressive to me.
Yeah, and it's because we're just on time, but I can't do much else until I get at least a couple rounds done. I can fudge it and I can always show you how to do the decreases and then just rip it out and really do it in the right round, later on, just so that we can all learn. Now, I want you guys to notice, did you notice that as I was working, this was cupping like this, but I want this side to be on the outside. So I just flip it just like this. That's all you need to do. Nothing big. Now it's starting to really kind of cone up and take a shape for me. So that was round 2. I'll do round 3. I was actually 1 round of my repeat. So I'll just do 1 more and then I'm going to do the decrease because we're going to run out of time.
I'm just being quiet so I don't throw off Marley's stitch count.
Okay, good. Do you decorate a lot for the fall season? I know that in Canada, you guys have already had your Thanksgiving, but do you decorate for fall and Christmas and all that?
Definitely for fall because I'm an autumn baby and it is like my color palette, it is my time. Mostly just in terms of like throw pillows. I swap out the throw pillows and throw blankets, and then I like to have a few different colors of pumpkins. Like I love the mint green and teal ones, so I'll have a few.
That's cool.
And then for Christmas, my tree is themed with cupcakes and just food.
Nice. I think I skipped one here and I didn't skip one, so I'm gonna get 8 there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, guys. Nobody's gonna look at your pumpkin and be like, oh, you have 1 extra stitch on this row. I think it's no big deal. I am ready to start decorating for Christmas. I know we just finished Halloween, but I am just like, even though Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, like I love, it's just, food and drink and family. You just can't, I mean, it's just so much fun. But I am ready to decorate for Christmas and get my holly jolly Christmas on for sure.
Well, Mariah Carey's already been out and posting, so I guess the season has
Oh, I
started.
know. I thought that was hilarious. And she was all decorated as like, or she was dressed up as a witch.
Yeah.
And then it was like a countdown timer. And then she switched into, it's here, and she's Christmassy, and it's just funny. It's a great song. It's a good song. All right, so as I'm going around here, I've been mentioning that I've been going through both loops of the stitch, right? When you do the stem, you're going to work into the chains, but then when you do your single crochets, you're only going to be working into the back leg or the back loop. Okay, so you see how you have these V's right here? You're going to work into the back leg of that V. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you these nice ridges. And that's what is going to make it look like it's a stem. Other than that, it's just single crochets. You can, everything else we've been doing. But you're going to work through that back stitch or the back leg of the stitch. I think it's the end here. I wanted to mention that. And then it says, once you have done all the rounds that you need to do, we're going to start decreasing down. And we're not going to get through all of them, so you don't have to really. You just have to know what you're doing. So you'll see on page 2, on the 3rd column, it says all sizes first round. Look at that. See how it's starting to really look like a pumpkin? It says all sizes first round, 1 single crochet in each of the first 2 single crochets. Then it says 1 double in the next double crochet. Then it says double crochet 2 together. So what you really need to know how to do is the double crochet 2 together. And all that really is we're going to be putting our hook into 2 stitches so that we can create 1 stitch, so we can decrease down. So let's start off here. We're going to chain 1 and then a single into each of the first 2, just like we've been doing. Let me put this in here. It says 1 double crochet in the next double. So I'm going to do 1 double crochet into the next double crochet. And then this is my double crochet 2 together. So here's what you really need to know how to do. Yarn over your hook, go into the next stitch. So we'll call this stitch A. You go into stitch A, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, draw through 2 and stop. So you have 2 loops on your hook. Now we need, so that's a partial double crochet. We need to put a partial double crochet in stitch B. So we yarn over our hook, go into the next stitch or stitch B, yarn over our hook, pull up a loop. Yarn over our hook, draw through 2 and stop. So now we have a partial stitch in stitch B, a partial stitch in stitch A. So we have 3 loops on our hook. You yarn over, draw through all 3 loops on your hook. What you will notice is it leaves you with 1 V at the top of the stitch. So that's it's going down to 1 stitch, but we've eaten up the space of these 2 stitches. Okay. Does that make sense? Now I'm doing both of these through both legs. If you did them both through the front leg, I think it shows it a little bit more invisible. I'm not going to worry about that. I like the double crochet with both of those stitches. So that is a decrease. All right. So then it says 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 doubles. So here's 1, 2, and 3. And then a double crochet 2 together. So yarn over my hook, go to the next stitch, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2 and stop. Yarn over my hook, go to the next stitch, yarn over my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over my hook, draw through 2 and stop. I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, draw through all 3 loops. Okay, so let's see here. And then 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 singles. So 2 singles, there's 1 and 2. And then we start to repeat. See how this is pulling it in? So those decreases, they're making it so it cups in. So because I haven't done very much on the body part, that's why it's looking more like a squash than a pumpkin. But if I continue on it's going to really pull in these stitches, and eventually with each decrease round, it'll keep pulling it in. And you'll see that after round 2, it suggests that you stuff your pumpkin at that point, and then you do round 3 and 4, and you would close it up. Like there's nothing big there. As far as a single crochet 2 together, which is what you do on round 3, it's the same premise. So I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet 2 together. You go into the stitch, so stitch A, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you go into stitch B, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, draw through all 3. I'm going to show you that one more time. This is how you will do a single crochet 2 together. Go into stitch A, yarn over, pull up a loop, go into stitch B, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3 loops. Okay, that's a single crochet 2 together, and it really just pulls everything in really, really tight. Yeah, it looks like a hot pepper for sure. Okay, now with the stem, it's just as easy as you're going to chain 10, and then in the second chain from hook, you single crochet, and you single crochet in each one all the way down. So you have 9 single crochets. You chain 1 and turn, and as you work your way back, you only work through the back loop, and that's what gives you these nice ridges. So it's made flat, and then you fold it lengthwise like this, and you just whip it together. You have your tails here. You pop this right here. You can use your tails to just seam it right into place, and you have yourself the top of your pumpkin. It's pretty easy. If you don't want to use this, you could always just use like cinnamon sticks. Just put them right there at the top. You could have cinnamon sticks. It's pretty easy to do. All right, so I have a couple minutes left. I want to see what you guys get. Oh, look at Scarlett's. She totally did a carrot. Look at that. Now that's adorable.
That's how you become a designer.
That's how you become a designer. And that is so great. I love it, Scarlett. That's amazing. Tina is on her way. Richie, did you do both of those right now? Oh, I was like, oh my gosh. Like she was showing 2 of them. Cindy is showing hers. That's awesome. It's starting to really look good. Oh, all these people are going to have really great pumpkins all over the place. Scarlett, you're a budding designer, my friend. That is fantastic. Or it could be a little habanero pepper. It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You guys are doing so good. So good. Thank you so much for joining us here for the Michaels Community Classroom. I cannot wait to see your little pumpkins out there in the world. If you follow us at all on Facebook or on Instagram, make sure that you tag us. I'm the Marley Bird on Instagram, and I just have the Marley Bird page or the Marley's Minions Facebook Grave page on Facebook. But Renee is going to give you all those details here in just a minute. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for joining me here. I enjoy doing these Michaels classes, and the more of you that come and join in the fun, the more often they're going to ask me back. So thanks. All right, Renee, back to you.
All right. Thanks again, everyone, so much for joining us today. This was so fun. Don't forget to share your work with #MakeItWithMichaels and #YarnSpo. That's YARNSPO. We love to see your work. And just a reminder that you can find more classes on michaels.com and the recording of today's class at michaels.com/classes. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.